and he'd given us the Luchas Shnios. We received the second set of tablets. Moshe Rabbeinu says to Hashem, he says, the Jews know they were forgiven. How does the world know we were forgiven? Dumas Olam. She says, tell them to build a Mishkan, and when my Shekhinah will come among them, in the midst, then the world will know that they were forgiven. Now, why is it important for the world to know? Moshe Rabbeinu's point was, either Klal Yisrael knows, what about the world? The world has to know. What does the world have to know?
Hashem exists, that he has something to do with this.
No, that we're forgiven, That
tshuva, and that...
what teach the world tshuva?
Hashem guards the Jewish people. That he lets them correct errors. Whether the goyim are immediately, there should be anyway.
Okay.
Okay.
Teach the goyim the need of forgiveness.
Maybe you don't deserve to be forgiven.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that they should be forgiven, but that there is a concept, like forgiving to them.
Do you have to teach the goyim to forgive? Of course they forgive.
We hear some ambassadors.
So simple pshat is, why does the Jew keep the Shabbos? We are the testament to the world that Hashem's the creator.
Yeah.
But we're only the testament to the world if we're connected to Him. So therefore, the world has to understand that we are God's ambassadors to the world. So if He dwells in our midst, that's clearly we're reinstated in that role. But if we weren't reinstated, so we don't function in that capacity. So that's Moshe said, even though we know we were forgiven, but if we were disenfranchised, as the world understands it, so we have no relevance to that.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, he says, go build a Mishkan, Hashem's presence will dwell in your midst. That will confirm to the world that you are.
So that's all we need now, because the world doesn't believe we've been forgiven. Christians think that we've been surpassed by their guy, and Muslims think the same thing.
Christians believe that they took our place.
Right.
That's what they call their testament, the New Testament. Right? Until the Jew believes in what they believe in, we're not reinstated. That's our only salvation.
Was the third bias fulfilled?
No, it has nothing to do with third bias. Even third bias by them, that's the whatever you want to call it. The second coming. Because that was the Ramban's point. Where did they come up with the second coming? There was the famous debate, Ramban with the Franciscan order in Spain. It says, when Mashiach will come, it's lo yisa goyel goy chorev, right? The swords will be made into plowshares. So Ramban said, here he's supposed to be the Messiah. He couldn't help himself, so he's going to bring peace to the world. That was his point. So that's when they came up with the second coming. That was the first coming. That's going to happen with the second coming. He's coming back.
So how do we understand this for today? That we seem to be using the ground all over the place.
Okay, let's not talk current.
Okay.
You know what current is? Under the water is the current. That's where you're going. Okay? Right now we'll stay above water.
Drowning.
I thought the current was a jelly.
Okay. Okay. You're getting smeared. Okay. Avodas haLevim. Okay. Pekudei HaMishkan v'Kelef Avodah HaMesur Levim b'Midbar. The various dictates of the Mishkan and its vessels. This avodah was given over to the Levim. Losis lahorit, they would carry, they would dismantle lahokim, ishish l'maso, to place each person in his own to carry. L'mufkar olov k'mosham parshas noso biyari somar. Hu hayapokir aleim. He was the overseer. Limso kol beisav avodah she'olov. Ubetzalo b'uri ben chur. Second. Lamati Yehuda also is kol asher tziva Hashem es Moshe. He did all that Hashem had commanded Moshe. Rashi. Now it's interesting, We said that normally when the Torah traces a pedigree, it's one generation. It's not two generations. So what do we trace? Betzalel ben Uri ben Chur, because that was the schus, right? But factually, every time Betzalel is mentioned, it's always tracing it. Say it once. Betzalel ben Uri ben Chur the first time. Second time. Every time Betzalel is mentioned, it's always you trace him to the third generation. I mean, we've already established, we've already made it known. Why did he have the capacity? Is because of his grandfather gave his life for Kiddush Hashem. So he merited that special understanding and ability. But every time, it's the same thing. Betzalel ben Uri ben Chur l'mata Yehuda. Second. I think the point is, it's not for Betzalel. No. Initially, why did Betzalel merit to have such ability and such understanding? Because he was the grandson of Chur. But factually, the Mishkan, that it came about in the way it did, it all accrues to Chur. Betzalel is always Chur. Whenever we mention Betzalel within this context, it's Chur. First we say, how did that? He was only 13 years old. A 13-year-old boy, how does he have such understanding and such ability? So the answer is he's the grandson of Chur. Okay, now we've established that. Now we have a Mishkan. You know, oversaw the building of the Mishkan, Betzalel ben Uri ben Chur. If we'd only said Betzalel ben Uri, then Chur is already out of the... We've already established why Betzalel had the capacity. No. That the Mishkan was built, it's Chur. That it took on that dimension and the capacity, it's because it's Chur. That's what we're mentioning Chur. Not for Betzalel. It's for Chur, that it's all attributed and it accrues to Chur. The grandfather, because he was Moshe Nefesh, because he gave his life for Kiddush Hashem.
I mean, you can also say that the Mishkan, the building of the Mishkan is repeated over the last 2-3 parshiot. So isn't that?
No, but
can we say that's part of that repetition that the Betzalel ben Uri ben Chur?
Yeah, but it's unnecessary. In the other areas, it's necessary. We're computing the materials. We want to see each one has its value. But here we've already identified him.
So it's different between.
I think it is. Let's see Rashi here. Famous Gemara Rashi brings. Betzalel ben Uri osis kol asher tziva Hashem es Moshe. Asher tziva osam Moshe in ksiv kan. It says Betzalel should have said he did all that Moshe commanded him. Asher tziva Hashem es Moshe. Afil dvorim shlomo lo rabo. Even things which his Rebbe did not tell him, he understood. His schema daito l'ma shenema l'Moshe Sinai. He was able to come upon what actually Moshe Rabbeinu was told at Sinai. Ki Moshe tzivil Betzalel lasos tchilo kelim v'achach mishkan. Initially, Moshe Rabbeinu had said to Betzalel, make the kelim and then the mishkan. Amado Betzalel minik olam lasos tchilo bayis v'achach mesim kelim v'sofa. Right. First, you build the structure, then you put the various needs. Amalo kav shemati v'Hakadosh Baruch Hu. So Moshe Rabbeinu, we heard that he says, in truth, that's what Hashem said to me. Amalo Moshe b'tzel kel hoyisa. Evidently, it's b'tzel kel ki v'adei kach tzivul Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Chen osa mishkan tchil v'akach os kelim. I mean, it's difficult. I mean, this is an indication of b'tzel kel. Don't you first build the structure, then you bring whatever it is needed. I mean, you have to be in the shade of God. You have to be somehow divinely inspired to understand this. And Moshe Rabbeinu himself couldn't understand on his own. That you first build the structure, then you bring whatever's needed inside the structure. What is it about? I think Rameir Simcha explains that initially, before the Chet Egel, where was the Shekhinah meant to be? In our midst, directly in our midst. The medium of the Mishkan wasn't necessary. It didn't function as a medium. So therefore, we were the location. You have Kalim, you have Mizbech, you have everything. After the Chet Egel, now the Mishkan takes on a new level of value. The Mishkan now is the medium for the Shekhinah. It dwells in the Mishkan, and through that's the linkage to us. So if that's the case, you have to have the structure. The structure, even though the way it seems to be, the vertical posts, beams would have been there. But they don't function any differently than the Kalim. It's not that because they have to contain. Before what contained the Shekhinah, we contained the Shekhinah, as Klal Yisrael. When we became tainted with Chet Egel, we weren't qualified anymore to contain the Shekhinah. The Shekhinah had to be maintained, contained within the Mishkan. So now the Kroshim take on a different degree of value. They contain the Shekhinah. It's not we contain the Shekhinah. So if that's the case, first you build the outer structure, and then you bring whatever's needed to bring inside the structure. I think that's why. So Moshe Rabbeinu was under the understanding that it's still the way it initially was. So Tzal says, but the way he understood it, so really where Tzal was coming from, it was understanding. Moshe Rabbeinu thought we were fully reinstated. We were fully reinstated, but factually we weren't fully reinstated. So that he says, that you were able to sense that that's the way it's supposed to be. He says, by the way, after the Chet Egel, that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu did tell me. It was inverted. It's not first Kalim, then the posts, but first the outer beams, and then you bring what's necessary inside.
So before
It's like a concept of Shmini Atzeres, right? Shmini Atzeres, we don't sit in the sukkah. Right? 7 days we sit in the sukkah. What does the sukkah represent? Protection. Right? It's the Anei HaKavod, the clouds of glory. When you Shmini is always you're actually, that's beyond the 7. Once you go beyond the 7, that means you're cleaving to God Himself. You need no protection. When you're within the 7, you're within the physical world. You have to have protection. What's the protection? That's the sukkah. The sukkah represents the Anei HaKavod. Once you go beyond that point, you don't need, when you cleave to Hashem, you need no protection. It's the same idea. If Hashem's in your midst, you don't need the outer structure. You are the location. So then the Kroshim are no different than the Kleya, are no different than the vessels in the Mishkan itself. That's the understanding. Okay, let's see the Maral.